Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're ditching the automated software calculators and we're going to master the professional-level manual calculations for solar panel matching. Look, if you're serious about maximizing your solar harvest and making absolutely sure your hardware is compatible, understanding the underlying math is just non-negotiable.
All right, let's just dive right into our blueprint. We're going to decode the specs, look at series versus parallel setups, size up controllers and hybrid inverters, and wrap up with efficiency and safety.
So, step 1. Decoding solar panel specifications.
Everything really starts with Pmax, which is just your peak power. Think of it as the absolute ceiling of wattage your panel can generate when environmental conditions are literally perfect. It's the baseline number you use when figuring out your total potential output, but to actually harness that power, we need to dig a little deeper into the electrical dynamics.
Now, this is absolutely crucial. Understanding the difference between what happens when your panel is completely disconnected versus when it's actually running under a load. Up top, you've got VOC, or open circuit voltage. That's just what you read with a multimeter when the panel is unplugged. Next to it is ISC, the short circuit current, which is the absolute maximum amperage if the panel were short-circuited. On the flip side, looking at the bottom, we have VMP and IMP, the maximum power voltage and current. These are the slightly lower real-world numbers your system actually runs at when it's fully hooked up and working. Honestly, knowing the difference between these disconnected maximums and your connected operating realities is the secret to, well, not blowing up your hardware.
Moving right along to Part 2, Configuration Rules for Series versus Parallel Setups.
This is essentially the golden rule of solar configuration. When you wire your panels in series, meaning you're daisy-chaining them positive to negative, your total peak power, your VOC, and your VMP all add together, while your amperage stays exactly the same. You do this to stack your voltage high enough to meet those MPPT requirements. But if you wire them in parallel, positive to positive, negative to negative, it does the exact opposite. Your voltage stays flat, but your peak power and your amperage add up.
Okay, Part 3, matching with solar charge controllers. Let's see how this actually works with some real-world hardware.
Let's take the SRNE 40-amp controller as a case study. It comes with a strict, hard safety ceiling of 100 volts for its solar input. Remember that open circuit voltage, the VOC we just talked about? Well, your combined panel VOC can never, ever exceed this 100-volt limit, no matter how you decide to configure the system.
But wait, it gets a little trickier, because the controller's capacity actually changes depending on the battery bank you're charging. For a 12-volt system, this specific unit handles up to 550 watts. But if you upgrade to a 24-volt system, that handling capacity doubles right up to 1100 watts. So, say you have a 12-volt system and you want to efficiently hit that 550-watt maximum. By wiring two 275-watt panels in a 2-series, 1-parallel configuration, which really just means 2 panels daisy-chained together, you output exactly 550 watts. Even better, their combined VOC adds up to 76.6 volts. That sits comfortably and safely under the controller's 100-volt limit. It's a perfect match.
But here is where things get super dangerous. If you step up to a 24-volt system to grab that 1100-watt limit, you might think, oh, I'll just string 4 275-watt panels together in series to hit the wattage. No way. You absolutely cannot do that. Why? Because adding 4 VOCs together in series is going to blow right past that 100-volt input limit. Even though the wattage is fine, the voltage will literally cause a catastrophic failure. Actually, to fix that, you need a 2-series 2-parallel setup to keep the voltage down while still hitting your target wattage. All right, stepping up to the big leagues. Part 4, Matching with Hybrid Inverters.
These boss-level hybrid inverters, like the SRNE 5.5 kilowatt model, don't just have maximum ceilings, they have strictly enforced operating ranges. This unit demands an open circuit voltage between 120 and 500 volts. Plus, its active MPPT voltage needs to sit between 120 and 450 volts. Basically, if your array produces less than 120 volts, the inverter simply won't recognize it. The battery just won't charge. You have to design your array to live perfectly inside this window.
To feed that massive voltage hunger, series connections are totally your best friend. If you wire 10 massive 600-watt panels in series, you get 6,000 watts of power. And since voltage adds up in a series, those 10 panels stack up to 417 volts of open circuit voltage. That easily clears the 120-volt minimum while staying well below the 500-volt ceiling. It's a beautiful, highly efficient match. But what if your panels don't perfectly match? Well, models like the Day 5 kilowatt have a really clever workaround.
2 separate MPPT trackers. This effectively lets you split your array right down the middle. You could wire a string of 450-watt panels into the first tracker and a completely different string of 500-watt panels into the second. As long as you respect each tracker's voltage limits and stay under the unit's total maximums, the system will optimize both strings completely independently. A real game changer if you're mixing hardware.
Finally, let's wrap this up with Part 5, efficiency and safety considerations.
Because, let's be real, your pristine paper math is about to meet messy physical reality. Out in the real world, your system efficiency is usually going to hover between 95 and 98%. Between environmental heat and just the physical resistance of your wires, you're always going to have some losses. Engineers actually bake this slight efficiency drop into their designs, knowing that peak theoretical wattage almost never hits the hardware at a full 100%.
Now, with all that power flowing, routing it safely is just absolutely crucial. The safety flow for any professional setup has to go from the solar array immediately into a dedicated panel board with DC-specific circuit breakers and surge protectors. Only after passing through those safety checkpoints should that power ever touch your expensive inverter or charge controller. Never, ever skip the DC safety devices.
And I can't stress this enough, the larger your hybrid inverter, the higher your series voltage has to be. Once your math pushes you over 400 volts, like in that 10-panel example we did earlier, you are way beyond basic DIY territory. You're dealing with lethal currents that require strict, professional-level handling and robust safety gear.
So, as you walk away from this explainer to evaluate or build your own setup, you have to ask yourself this critical question. Have you balanced the manual math perfectly? Is your array configured so the operating voltage is high enough to trigger the charging process while remaining safely below the hardware's maximum ratings to prevent a total meltdown? Master that balance, and you master your entire solar system.